There's a device that I've been using called a Whoop.
Hello, and welcome back to IGOW3. Field reporter Danny here, on location at Callisto's Dive Gate to introduce weekly challenge number 17, the Fractal Engineering Gate Dives. This week's challenge requires that you take an IGOW approved gate and instead of having it vertically, you turn it horizontally so it becomes a dive gate and you can fly up and down through it vertically. Alright, now let's go back to Dan and Liz in IGOW Studios so they can break down this week's challenge.
Thanks, field reporter Danny. This week's challenge looks like it's going to be quite difficult. Luckily, difficult challenges are not a problem for Eve Fractal, the owner and operator of this week's featured sponsor, Fractal Engineering. Eve started his professional career in the automotive industry, designing various parts for Ford, PSA, Audi, Volkswagen, Jaguar, and Volvo from 2011 through 2015. While working for these car companies, he also started to freelance his engineering skills. And in 2015, he quit his job to run his own agency, providing engineering services to inventors. This allowed Eve to travel the world, helping his clients turn their crazy ideas into kick-ass products.
Eve eventually set up shop in Taiwan and built a prototyping lab with 3D printers, soldering stations, and more to provide support for his products that he designed. During this time, he also took an interest in FPV as a hobby. He loved both flying and building FPV quads, and he started working with Armaton and CL Racing. After many years of helping others develop their products and achieve their dreams, Eve felt as if it was time to start focusing on his own products and business. He brings the same set of values that made his agency so successful to his store and plans to bring the most unique and cool products to his customers.
Eve believes in Industry 4.0, which means his shop will focus on a small series of highly specialized, customizable products that are tailor-made to a specific audience. Currently, the Fractal Engineering shop has 3 products for sale. The first is the Whoop Juice Transfer Station, which is a 1S balanced charging board. This allows you to charge up to 6 1S Whoop batteries at the same time with any balance charger. The board was thoughtfully designed with thick traces, silicone wires, and is assembled and quality checked by Eve himself. It is a super easy and convenient way to charge your Whoop batteries quickly. Besides being able to get these products from the Fractal Engineering store, you can also get them from Newbie Drone and We Bleed FPV in the United States, Drone FPV Racer in France, or RC Bits in Australia.
The Fractal Engineering shop also sells the Fractal 65 frame kit and the Fractal 65 bind and fly. Eve has combined the plastic Whoop ducts of a standard Whoop frame with a custom designed carbon fiber base to make a unique Whoop design that flies great. Each bind and fly is personally built by Eve himself and comes with the Project Mockingbird tune and RPM filtering with the Blue Jay ESC firmware. This started as a project that Eve designed for himself and then turned into a product to share with the community once he saw how great it flew.
Fractal Engineering also just started up a team. Their first 2 sponsored pilots are Glenn Pat, also known as Bella Chow, and Colin Flynn, also known as Heads, who you might know from Infinity Loops. Okay, now let's jump into the requirements for weekly challenge number 17, the Fractal Engineering Gate Dives. Requirement number 0 is that your video can be no more than 60 seconds and you must follow all of the IGOW3 posting rules.
Requirement number 1 is that you must set up a double dive gate for requirement number 2 and a single dive gate for requirement number 3. The gates must be the standard IGOW approved size of 28 inches max to 16 inches minimum. The top gate can be no more than 10 feet above the ground, and the gates must be at least 24 inches apart for the double dive gate. Note, you do not need to have both styles of obstacles set up at the same time because requirement number 2 and number 3 can be done in separate clips.
Requirement number 2 is that you must perform a forward dive and a backward dive through the double dive gates in the same clip with no bumps or ground taps. You must remain in the dive position through both gates and both dives. You cannot pull out of the dive and level out until you have passed through the second gate.
Requirement number 3 is that you must perform an eject roll. This is done by flying up through the bottom of the dive gate and popping out the top. Then you go no more than 10 feet above the top of the gate and look down at the gate and then do a full roll, keeping the gate in your FPV view. Then you finish the trick by diving back down through the dive gate and then pulling out and flying away with no bumps or ground taps. If you don't want to change your obstacle, you can perform requirement number 3 through a double dive gate if you would like.
Just like last week, this week's challenge requires pilots to perform basic tricks with a very high level of precision. This may be one of the most difficult challenges in IGOW history, so don't get discouraged if you struggle this week. My main suggestion is to set your dive gates up above softer ground, like grass or carpet, to help reduce damage to your whoops during the inevitable crashes that will occur attempting this trick. Good luck and happy whooping!